Good day, and welcome to another episode of Liquid Health News. I am your host, Jefferson Nunn, and this presentation is sponsored by Biotoxin Foundation and Solve.care. If you'd like to join us, you can do so through our link on the liquidhealth.news or on the biotoxin.foundation website or through our links on YouTube and Facebook. Today, I want to go over some of the new information that we have about toxins in our environment and why it can be dangerous to our overall health. For example, in Washington, most recently, a federal judge actually had to shut down a juice processor due to toxins. That is to say that you could be buying juice at a store and, as made by this company, and it was actually distributed to students. Uh, and there was actually toxic mold in this, and this is not the good ones. I mean, there are a few molds that if you drink it, it's not too bad. These molds, you drink it, it can get in your body, and you end up with a long-term problem, and that is neurotoxicity and cardiovascular disease. That is to say that your heart can stop working, or your brain gets fried. And both of those are not things that go away anytime soon. Nor do doctors adequately understand the problems around this. So, this is why today, we really encourage people to consider what it's going to take to come together and to have better processes for determining if there are problems with our food, with our air, with our water, or just in our overall environment. And there are more and more people falling victim to toxic mold poisoning. And it's taking a long time to get people to recognize that these are problems. Everybody thinks mold is not a problem. Even as people die from mold, um, so many people think that mold isn't a problem. It is a problem. It is a big problem. Why should you listen to me, for example? What do I know about mold? For more than a year, I was exposed to toxic mold in my home, my very home. I was in that environment sometime 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It caused a lot of problems in my body. I have constant tinnitus. Day and night, my ears ring. It sounds like a horn. It sounds like a bell. I can hear 5 hertz. And if you go, well, what is that? Well, it's because of what they call thalamus pain and thalamocordia dysrhythmia. And it can happen when part of your thalamus gets fried. So there's actually a thing called thalamic pain syndrome. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because that's one of the areas that can be affected by viruses and by toxins, not just viruses or bacteria, but by toxins. The toxins can get into your body and cause a long term problem that they don't have a resolution for. The best they can do is to try to sort of help treat it, not a cure. And the treatment is hardly worth talking about. And so these are some of the reasons why, because I've gone through it, I can talk a little bit about this. I'm knowledgeable in what it means to be adversely affected by toxins, in my case, mold. There are other types of toxins that can happen. Actually, if you do not move your body enough, which is an irony type of thing because we're now being told to stay at home. Don't go outside, don't meet people, all that. So now we're trapped in our very homes, and it's like, what do we do? Well, if you're just sitting around all the time, then your body actually builds up more toxins. And it's not that the the liver, the kidneys, all of those things could still be working in most healthy adults. But if you do not circulate through the body enough, then it just doesn't have time to work. It actually needs more blood pressure, if you will, to get those toxins out of the body. And so as a result, I mean, you can get heart problems, you can get deep vein thrombosis, you can get all kinds of random problems, including cancers, just from just sitting around. So getting up and moving around every 15 minutes or so is a good thing. There are a number of other rare diseases and things like that, but I do want to get to what others have said about problems that they're facing and what we can do about it. One of the groups that I'm a member of is this toxic mold support group. And there's a lot of questions about what do we do if we have mold and we have pets? Some people say things like an ozone purifier. It's good. The thing is, you do not want to be in the house while there's ozone. Ozone actually can cause problems with your own body. All right. So I really don't recommend staying in a room with a lot of ozone in it. All right. Ozone actually is like a free radical. So it can actually cause problems in your body. Definitely, you want to get rid of mold. You do not want to stay in a house with mold in it. If you have pets, there are plenty of air purifiers that are out there that are good. One of the ones I've used that is relatively inexpensive is called TrueSense. Um, I don't recommend spending more than $200 in an air purifier. But if you go, wow, $200 is a lot of money, you can build your own air purifier. All right. You can go to Home Depot or your local, you know, home department store, and you can get what's called a box fan. All right. The box fans these days, they look like this. They are extraordinarily inexpensive. They're mass produced and all that sort of thing, right? Most times, like $20, you can find one. Then, in the same Home Depot type of environment, you can get one of these like 25. I don't know how big that box fan is, right? But however big it is, you can get one of these 25 by 25 by 1 type of air filters for usually not a lot of money either. Basically, just some kind of a square-ish air filter that'll fit within the frame of that box fan. All right. They have these super packs for $50, So you can just have just the one is fine. Make sure you get one of the allergen ones, the one that say they're, super high MERV counts, that sort of thing, right? And the highest that you can afford, like the 1500 ones. those are going to be really, really strong filters, right? You just literally put that on the intake side of the fan, duct tape it, just put some tape around it. Now you got yourself an air filter for not a lot of money. So the only reason why to use one of these super fancy ones is, they don't make a lot of noise, and box fans they make a lot of noise, but also, um, they have the antivirus filters on them as well, but you can get those antivirus filters from the same Home Depot place. So depending on what your budget is, there's still a lot of options to have clean air. And if you go, well, why should I worry about the air? I mean, I just open the door and I can get so called clean air. Well, no, that's not how that works. Um, I'm attempting to bring it up on my phone, but if I can, I will bring it up in the next minute or two. But I have an app that comes with my Echo V, and it has a report that I'm attempting to try to bring up, and for whatever reason, I can't get there right now. But in any case, if you look, there's a variety of different informational websites that are around, right? And they talk about what the air quality is in your local area. The long and short of it is the air quality in your local area is definitely not good. I'm sorry. It came with aware, AWAIR. I'm happy to bring that up. If you want to know what's going on in the air in your own house, you can, and it monitors a lot of different data points. You can see on my screen, it monitors the temperature, it monitors the humidity. Here's a big one, CO2. A lot of people don't realize just staying in the room, the carbon dioxide builds up. It can be a matter of a few hours, but over time it builds up. If you don't have a high ceiling room, it can build up faster. Above 1,000 parts per million, they have recorded problems with mental acuity. And above 1,500 parts per million, it becomes toxic. And much beyond that, you start to die. Kids that were in sealed rooms, they call them portables, ended up suffering from carbon dioxide poisoning. So you go, well, just open a window. Well, there's a problem with that. The outdoor air quality oftentimes is not good. Um, Currently in my area right now, the air quality is good in this specific location, but right next door, and I'll hold it up to my camera here, even if it's not looking too good, I'll try. But right next door, you can see it's in a caution zone, right? So air quality can vary. And not only that, um, there could be other toxins in that air that's not necessarily being monitored. And so there's two other things that it monitors, the chemicals that are in the air, as well as PM 2.5. And you go, well, in my home, I don't have a lot of chemicals. You'd be surprised. You buy a new sofa, it's outgassing. The chemical count will go very high. You know, if you're cooking something, that releases particulates into the air. Again, it goes high. And so, unless you monitor and measure these things, you won't know how the very air that you're breathing can end up killing you. Um, and the outside air some days can be very, very bad because of all the pollution from factories, from cars, um, and not even in your local area. it could be from some faraway place. The outgas something, it goes up, and what goes up eventually comes down. And so, yes, it's important to try to clean the air as much as you can. So, there are some of these books that can be good. For example, Healing Lyme is a relatively decent book. Um, and if you have Lyme along with mold poisoning, it can be extremely bad. Um, so turmeric, turmeric can be good, and you don't have to buy the super expensive pills. I mean, if you're wanting to take it that way because you don't like the taste of it or whatever, sure. Um, or you can even make your own. I mean, they sell the little veggie gel caplets for capsules for not a lot of money. Takes a few minutes to make. You just buy a whole thing of turmeric and just scoop it up and capsule it. You can make a whole bunch in not even 15 minutes. And you can add other stuff, honey and lemon and whatever else you want in it. That said, I mean, yeah, you can make your own tea, if you will, turmeric tea. Just dump some turmeric along with honey and lemon, and away you go. Does it have anti-inflammatory properties? Absolutely, it does. All right. It can help. Again, each of these things just helps. All right. May not be a fix. One thing I was told, joint and joint pain, otherwise known as rheumatoid diseases, um, is actually fairly common, actually in some large segments and populations. It turns out it's relatively genetic in nature, or it could be environmental, meaning if you move your body a lot, it ends up, being that way as well, right? So, um, our diet actually has a big contributing factor to this. Some people are just inherently um, just predisposed to having inflammation as a result of eating anything that is high in carbohydrates or high in gluten or high in any one of these things. So I know of several people, they changed their diets and they ended up, after a couple of years, uh, not having that severe inflammation response. In other words, the body ended up having a chance to rebuild. So turmeric can be something that can be really, really good to just help. Um, 5-HTP, it's really good for sleeping at night. Oh, if I could find it, I have a bottle of a calming thing that I've taken. I think I have a photo of it even on my phone because when I go to buy it, I found it in a local store, but you can find it almost anywhere, even online. It's this fun. It's called Keep Calm Stress Support, and it's a combination of all kinds of stuff: lavender, melatonin, 5-HTP, asparta. Um, take one of those, and I am out for the night. Also, during the day, to try to get more energy going, you can take vitamin B6. Oddly, that's one of the ones that our body does not naturally produce. And if you don't eat it through any one of the foods that may have it, then doing one of those droplets with B6, B12, B whatever can also help give you energy for the day. So if you're feeling tired, um, you can do that to try to give some energy through the day. And if you're just got the depression and anxiety thing going, taking one of these supplements to try to uh, calm things down is important. And here's the thing: when you're going to the mold environment, the body is super stressed out. All right, like really super duper stressed out to the greatest degree imaginable. Everything is inflamed. Like every part of your body is on fire. All right. It's a toxic response. Your body is just freaking out. All right. Um, Sadly, it's going to take a little while to go from that to not freaked out. The bottom line. In my case, I had to take some medicines just to try to even get to the other side of it. Again, if you need to go the medicine route because of stomach pain or whatever, see a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But I can say that even with the medicines, even with taking the supplements, it took a good 6 months before my sleep was anywhere back to near normal. It takes time for the body to go from, oh my God, I'm super freaked out to, okay, I think I can relax enough to sleep at night. Now, why am I mentioning this? If you're not sleeping enough at night and you have a freaked out body, it's going to lead to anxiety. It's going to lead to depression. It's going to lead to a lot of problems. So, yes, in this case, I would recommend, taking supplements, taking anything you can take to try to calm the body down, to try to get things back to normal. Um, huh, this crap, no. Avoid it. Useless. Completely useless. Don't waste your 20 bucks on it. Um, yeah. So, can mold cause staph infections? No, not directly. It's not that here's a bunch of mold, you breathe it in, and then here's a bunch of staph, you breathe that in. If you've never been in that environment before, your body has an immune system, it's going to try to fight it off. Now, if your body is already trying to fight off severe inflammation everywhere in the body all at once, and then there's a little bit of staph around, yep, it's going to go crazy. So, yes, that's the thing. Because your body's overwhelmed, you're more at risk of anything, pneumonia, staph, pick something, anything, because your body's already weak. Um, it's going to be overwhelmed by just E. coli, anything. Definitely not fun. Coffee enema and pain didn't do a damn thing for me. Your mileage may vary. Let's see. I want to say something about dementia. So, my grandmother, turns out, was in a very moldy environment. There was a roof leak that, nobody knew about, not even her. And there was mold in the attic. And they diagnosed her with dementia. She complained of pain. She complained of all kinds of problems. Yeah, mold. So, yeah, depression, just getting to usual. This zeolite thing, come on. Um, I'll say it again. Zeolite is not a cure-all. All right, I don't even recommend it, um, because I be worried about the purity of it. And unless you can, and I don't think there is such a thing, not in any lab test that I've seen yet. I mean, show me a lab test that says that they have zero aluminum in their zeolites, and I'll change my view. All right. But the problem is, just because of how it comes into being, there's a lot of aluminum with that zeolite, and aluminum in your body is not a good thing. I mean, a very trace amount, okay. But yeah, don't eat aluminum. And if you're taking zeolite, you're practically giving your body another toxin to deal with. All right. And zeolite's not going to do anything really for you. So those are some of the questions that I've seen that I can help to answer. Last but not least, CBD or marijuana in general. Sure, it can help. All right. If it helps you, go for it. You can use it topically. You don't have to eat it. You can use it topically, wherever you have pain. I did for a time, put it on each one of my muscles, and it helped me to sleep at night. For me, CBD causes me to be a little bit sleepy. And so I would take the sleep medicine, I would do the CBD, and I get, for once, 4 hours of sleep when I was first recovering. Now I don't need it. So, sure, it's worth a try. You want to make sure you get as pure CBD as you can. The full spectrum ones are good. You don't need to pay a fortune for it. There are plenty of people out there that will, sell you CBD for a reasonable price. All right. So if you go to these retail shops, a lot of them are very expensive. You can find some of these online places where you can get the same thing for 20 bucks that they sell in the stores for like 100. If you could grow your own, it's basically a weed, very easy to grow, you know. So something to think about for the longer term. All right. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to write us, join our show. We'll even support dial-ins. Go to www.liquidhealth.news. Go to um, Biotoxin.foundation. Go to any one of our websites and reach out and contact us, and we'll be glad to help. Again, I'm your host, Jefferson Nunn. Glad to have you. Thank you.